Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the fourth session of Unmasked Insights and Conversations with Filipino entrepreneurs and nation builders. Unmasked is one of the flagship events of the FEU Tech Innovation and Entrepreneurship Office designed to feature successful entrepreneurs and unmask their inspiring journey to hopefully inspire more people, especially the young ones, to become entrepreneurs. But before we officially introduce to you our speaker for this morning, we would like first to give you an overview about our office, which is the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Directorate of the FEU Institute of Technology. So just to give you a quick background of what we are doing. Okay, next slide please, Carla. We believe, okay, Carla, go. We believe that nation building is best achieved through solving through society's biggest problems and creation of jobs using technology, innovation, and entrepreneurship. So our mission is actually to create the next generation of nation builders by creating innovators, technologists, and entrepreneurs. So our goal is to be the Philippines' most innovative and entrepreneurial academic institution. So we are actually very happy that FEU is actually made it to the list of one of the most innovative universities in the world. So we have identified four key success metrics as the Philippines' first academe-based venture builder. So first is the number of tech startup companies established. Second would be the number of tech startups funded. So we are creating that ecosystem that would actually enable innovation inside universities, and that will help these promising startups get funded. And third would be the number of new jobs created or the opportunities created by these startups. And lastly would be the number of patents applied for. So these are the technologies or innovations that necessarily go to the entrepreneurial track. So it's actually the institutional effort of the university to capacitate our research and um, our research capacity. As the academe's first as the Philippines Academe-based venture builder, we actually partnered with one of the most successful startup incubators in the country, which is the Asian Institute of Management Dado Banatao Incubator. So with this partnership, we are actually offering three flagship programs. So first is the Unmasked, which is happening today. It's actually our event. It's a monthly event wherein we feature stories of successful young entrepreneurs, especially those who rose during this COVID-19 pandemic. Second would be the TechX, which is also another monthly event wherein we try to create awareness on the different global emerging trends and current advancements in technology. So we've actually already featured data science, artificial intelligence. The recent one we had was on dermatological innovations. And lastly would be the FEU Tech Startup Academy. So this is actually a new OJT track offered by the FEU Tech, um, wherein we offer students who would want to become entrepreneurs a platform to actually pursue their business ideas and giving them that support and ecosystem that will help transform these ideas into successful business ventures. So basically, that's the IME office. We would now like to go to the most exciting part of the program. But before that, I would just like to encourage our attendees to engage with us, post your questions using our Facebook comment section. So we will be feeding them to our moderators so that it will be asked during the open forum. Okay. So to officially introduce our speaker for this morning, so she heads the Risque Designs as the CEO, founder, and designer, and currently manages Stride Collective as CEO and co-founder. So Risque is the manufacturing and retail arm that produces shoes for different brands under Stride Collective and other local shoe brands. She is a passionate and driven social entrepreneur, and she helps various communities by using local materials, including woven fabrics from provinces, provides livelihood and above industry standard wages to shoe artisans at their well-curated workshop in Marikina, and she supports shoe brand owners by producing ethically made, high-quality, handcrafted footwear. So let us all welcome our creative shoepreneur speaker for this morning, Ms. Tal De Guzman. And to moderate our discussion, I would also like to call on screen our Director for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, Mr. Roland Garcia.
Good
Hi,
morning.
good morning. Thank you, Janina. That was a very nice intro. Hi, Roland.
Hi, Tal. Hi again. Yeah, so welcome everyone to Unmasked. And this morning we are going to have a very exciting conversation. As you know, entrepreneurship is something that is counterculture to the Philippines in general, right? And as you know, the goal here is to be able to learn the secrets of Tal in this particular case, how she built her shoe business, her shoe empire, and perhaps we can talk about some challenges on building your own business, and of course the successes and tips for aspiring entrepreneurs like you. No? So Tal, perhaps you can start by sharing to us a little bit about yourself. um, I don't know, perhaps from college, since most of our viewers are college students. So college to your journey up to today.
Sure. Actually, I had an interesting college experience. So I started so I studied in Ateneo. My course there when I entered was management, BS
Yeah.
management. But around maybe second year, I was already not happy. Kasi I wasn't really happy. I felt a little bit out of place, or I wasn't sure if that's what I wanted. So I sort of convinced my parents to transfer. So I moved to art management, which is actually in fine arts. So, sobrang layo siya from being in BS management. Wala na siya sa School of Management. It was in fine arts na.
Mhm.
And after that, I realized, so when I graduated, my parents were actually surprised. I wasn't in the School of Management anymore. Nagulat na lang sila nung, um, nung umaano na ako, makita ako na stage. Sabi ko, no, I'm in School of Humanities na. By the way. So anyway, after graduation, I felt a little bit lost. I didn't know what to do. But I worked with art companies for a bit, and then I even worked with the family business, which is in construction, medyo very different line. But I tried it. Didn't work out so much for me. And I decided to um, go back to art again. I was an assistant art director for a gallery here in the Philippines. And then it was there that I realized, hey, I actually don't want to be employed anymore. I wanted to start my own business, but I didn't know how to begin. So I decided to study. I studied fashion. And then eventually from there, I stumbled upon, um, well, I started this cake kasi I realized I wanted to use local materials. Nung time na nag-start ako, the use of local weaves was not yet that common as it is right now. Dati parang it was just seen as like ang tawag dito, placemats or
Yeah.
table runners or curtains. And the cost of educating people was actually very high. But yun, I'm happy right now. It's more popular. There's acceptance for it. People look for it. And I'm happy how we have grown from being a retail company to um, also being a manufacturing company for shoes. So I guess that one will be able to discuss more later.
Yeah. Okay, so nakakatawa yung kwento mo, Tal, that you so your parents did not know that you transferred to humanities up until they saw you graduate?
Yeah, actually. Kasi sabi ko, para siyang management pero may art lang.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So medyo nagulat sila nung nung umakyat ako ng stage.
Well, well, I think a lot of students, I don't know kasi yeah, may mga students yata na hindi sinasabi din yung mga ganyan sa parents sila. But are your parents strict ba in general? Like, how did they react? Like,
My parents were of course very well, they are strict, traditional and strict.
mhm,
Tapos of course they expected me to go into business kasi we had a business.
yeah,
Pero they were supportive enough that when they knew I was miserable, they let me transfer.
okay.
So I think yun lang, parang just let them understand where you're coming from, why you're not happy. Kasi a lot of students naman go through that in college. Like they
Yeah.
get into something and then realize, oh, I don't think I'm fit for this course. This is not what I want to do after I graduate. And that's
Mm,
okay. It's really very okay to be lost.
yeah, yeah.
Super okay lang.
Okay. You mentioned earlier, Tal, that when you were in the art gallery, tama ba? Assistant gallery
Director.
director. Okay. You felt that you did not want to be an employee anymore. Uh, I have a few questions about that because I think that's a very important point. Perhaps you can start with this. No? What were you feeling at that particular point when you were employed? Uh, uh, what was it because you didn't own your time, or was it because of some financial I don't know, considerations? What made you feel that be an employee is not for you?
Actually, that time, because I was in an art gallery, so we were selling art. I was selling the works of people. But of course, my creative side, I knew I wanted to, parang I didn't want to sell other people's works. Um, I wanted to be able to sell my own, but I knew it wasn't painting, it wasn't sculpture. And I wanted to find what that is. And then parang getting to work, parang there was a certain point na I was really dragging my feet every day. Like when I started being in the company, I was so parang sobrang excited ako. I wanted to do a lot of things, and then parang eventually hindi I just knew I wasn't happy anymore. And of course I also wanted to be fair to my employers, and I didn't want them to be subjected to that na parang hindi na ako masaya tapos idadamay ko pa sila. So yeah, that was but it was really mostly my I knew I wanted to do something else, and I wanted to do something that I will really be proud of selling. I would be proud to put my name into.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was the driving force for me.
Okay. Did your you mentioned earlier that your family had a construction business. Did that have anything to do with your decision to transition from employment to entrepreneurship?
Oh, actually, I tried not to be in my family business before
Yeah.
I went into the art gallery. So, dun ko naman na-discover na hindi rin pala okay for me to work with a family business. Kasi,
Yeah.
like, I also want to be able to somehow separate
Mhm.
family and work. Kasi parang family business, pag uwi mo sa bahay, trabaho pa rin. Parang you still talk about work and everything. And that's why I really admire like my friends who were able to like continue the family business. But of course, part of me, I really parang ingrained siya sa akin. Now that I'm looking back on it, I think it's very much ingrained in me to be an entrepreneur because of my upbringing as well. Like I learned how it can impact more people, how you can
Yeah.
create wealth for yourself, for others,
Mm.
and not just be fixed with a certain salary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yun talaga malaking parang bagay for me na natutunan ko from my parents
Yeah.
na hindi ka confined. Like the amount of work that you do kasi parang kaya mo palakihin pa yung kita mo depending on
Yeah.
your effort also.
Yeah. I think I had this particular epiphany before also. So I run a few businesses, Tal, no, but um, it's when so I was with the ADB. It pays well, um, and yeah, it pays more than market value. But then yeah, I think it was also the same with your story. No, na parang I was dragging myself to work. It was exciting the first few, but then I knew I had number one. No, there's a fundamental flaw kasi in the equation of employment, right? Kasi time is
Yes,
equal to money, di
of
ba?
course.
But then my time is limited, right? So my question is, how do I create personal wealth for myself by multiplying my efforts X amount of time? The only way to do that is through entrepreneurship, right? But apart from wealth, I really wanted, as same as you, I really wanted to create um, something of my own. No, but then here's the thing. No, because I was raised in a family of employees. No? So my dad's a VP, etc. All these things. No, but the usual traditional track. But I was really, really afraid. No, but the thing is, I had the mentor at that time to really push me and to perhaps allay my fears. In this case, Tal, in your case, um, how was it transitioning? Did you have these doubts na kaya ko ba talaga? Or what if I fail? Like all these things. And I'm sure all of our viewers kasi are also, I want to be an entrepreneur, but I don't know how to start. What if I fail? I don't have the money to start, and all these things, no, that thwarts your perhaps motivation to become an entrepreneur. How was it for you?
Um, for me, talagang, I guess, nahirapan ako talaga nung start when I didn't know yet parang what field I was going into.
Mm.
Parang yun yung hardest reason. Parang hindi ko pa love yung gusto kong puntahan. And then pero it doesn't happen overnight eh. It's not like something that you discover agad-agad na parang, oh,
Yeah.
now I want to do this. And then you have all the energy and everything to do it. Like for me, it came really gradually. I had a lot of questions. I thought I was going into bags first. That's what I
Mm.
studied first. And then sabi ko, parang ang dami ng gumagawang brands using local materials na bags. For bags, I mean. So I said, why not into shoes? Kasi na-discover ko yun, parang na-experience ko to design a shoe in one of my classes where I was studying. And then sabi ko, parang okay din, masaya rin siya. And I think there's not a lot of people doing that yet. And then, when I was there, sabi ko, I had a friend kasi in Indonesia who was doing hand-painted shoes. And
Okay.
I decided to import muna even before doing it here. And then, grabe, sobrang stress ako sa customs. So, I decided, hey, why would I do that? We have Marikina, we have our own craftsmen
Mm.
here. So I said, okay, I should probably just do it here. So talagang, I didn't know anyone in Marikina. I didn't know how to start. I didn't know how to make a shoe. Didn't know anything. I just went
Mm.
to Marikina. And yun, parang, for me, it's a lot about exploration. It's a lot about trying out.
Yeah.
Minsan you stumble into things quickly, but sometimes it takes a long time. So it depends on the person you're facing, how far you'll get to what you want. Kasi ako, I knew it was what I wanted when I put all my effort into it. Parang,
Mm.
ito na yung gusto ko.
Yeah.
And I can't sleep. Parang,
Yeah.
not working. Parang I have to always be working on it.
Yeah.
And parang na-obsess ka with the idea, with how to do it, ganon.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But there will be a lot of questions along the way, a lot of doubts. Even now, I would have doubts if what I'm doing is right.
Yeah.
It happens in all stages of your entrepreneurship life.
Yeah. I think tama yun, like you can't sleep because you're too excited. And you're also correct, no, once you know that you're passionate about what you're doing, when you perhaps you're all in 100%, no? Parang no looking back, no? Pero lakas ng loob mo, like, you just went to Marikina without knowing anything about shoes.
Yeah, I'm like that. Actually, because one of my what you call it, my signature pieces for Risque for my brand is that I use hand carved heels like with different
Yeah.
um designs. And I knew Paete in Laguna. It's one is the parang wood carving capital of the Philippines.
Yeah.
So I didn't know anyone in Paete also. I
Yeah.
knew I just had this idea. I wanted to do that. So ang ginawa ko, wala. Nag-drive lang ako doon. Tapos umikot ako. Tapos luckily, and medyo a little bit, I didn't know naman din, no? But it was a Sunday. So everything was closed.
Yeah.
So I was lucky that when I went there, like one store in the highway was open, and then they were really nice, and then they accommodated me. They were like frowning on my designs at first, na parang kasi kakaiba, parang pwede ba to? But I said, sige po, itry lang natin. Hindi po ako magagalit kung mamamali kayo. It's okay. And that's how I am also with my team, with anything I want to try out. Okay lang kung magkamali ka. Okay lang. It's a learning process. And then let's see how we can improve from that afterwards.
Galing, galing. Okay, so since we're talking about your brand now, maybe you can perhaps share to the audience. We think we have 200 plus people watching.
Wow, that's a lot. Hi, everyone.
Yeah. You can promote your brand, tell us a bit about your company, take your time. If you want to share your screen, you can do that also.
Yeah, sige. I'll share a little bit of my business. I'll do that right now. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, yeah. Very nice. Ang ganda naman yan.
Oh, thank you. So,
Sila Carla here. Sabi lang, ang ganda ng shoes ni Tal. Maybe we can buy.
yeah, so I actually started with, well, what you see there on the right, medyo mas maarte, like that, medyo mas pang design, mas pang lakad sa labas. But eventually, I was also doing more wearable designs. Siyempre, kailangan yun. But, so anyway, so just to share with everyone, again, I'm Tal. I'm the shoepreneur of Risque. I call it shoepreneur, shoe entrepreneur. So I have kind of a lot of things I also do on the side. I'm not just an entrepreneur. I also teach. I'm a tour guide sometimes kasi I also tour people around Marikina nung pwede pa. I bring them to suppliers. I just finished my grad school, master's in social entrepreneurship. Yeah, I'm a storyteller basically. So like what I was saying earlier, I work with communities. I work with weavers, I work with shoemakers, I also work with wood carvers. But right now, most especially, I work with our shoemakers in Marikina. So we have our own manufacturing company. I guess to help people understand the business more, I have different business lines. So I have my retail, Risque Premium, and I have my manufacturing, which does manufacturing for other shoe brands. So I actually help mga startup brands. So if you don't know anything about shoes, we can actually help you para makapag-start kayo ng own brand nyo. Like it doesn't matter kung hindi ka marunong mag-design, hindi ka marunong mag-drawing, wala kang alam, okay lang. We'll help you start from the very beginning. And then we also, because I was there, sorry. So that's why I also want to help people because doon ako nanggaling, wala rin akong alam eh. So I know the journey and I wanted to get more people to come to Marikina, to start their own shoe brands, to basically help the industry. And to support that, I also have my workshops business. So it's training for entrepreneurs, training for artisans. So this one, so I have community trainings that I do in community. So these are sponsored by usually CSR of companies, but I also do trainings for our own people. So yeah, ito yung ginagawa namin. And then these are some of my workshops. So, what do you want me to start with, Roland? Actually, I have a lot of things that I can share to them. What do you want me to start with?
Sige, so perhaps you can tell us more about the inspiration of your designs.
Okay. Sige.
Yeah.
So let's start with this.
Yeah.
I started in 2012, but my first big collection was in 2013. I wanted to feature Filipino inspiration. So if you see there in my designs, may tarsier, merong likod ng pawikan, may buwaya. So these are all Philippine endemic animals. So I wanted to tell stories through shoes, parang to catch attention so that people will talk more about our materials, people will talk more about our culture. I had a lot of designs na just making kwento. Like may designs ako about Philippine games, about Philippine flora and fauna. A lot of these designs, basically ginagawa ko siya para, of course, for people to wear them and showcase, but a lot of times just to get more people interested in our culture and to do maybe somewhere along the way encourage them to do something similar in telling our story to
Yeah.
the rest of the world. Kasi we have a lot of interesting um, things in our culture. Like, nung nasa fashion school ako, medyo nasasad ako kasi a lot of my classmates were referencing mga Greek mythology, Norse mythology. Pero parang, ang dami naman nating mga epiko, ang dami nating alamat, bakit hindi yun yung ginagamit? So, but right now, I'm seeing so much more of that. And I'm very happy na it's like that right now. Yun. So, yun yung talagang drive for me when I was doing my designs. Oh, this is actually interesting. The next one that I have. I started really small. My first ever event was selling at the back of our car.
Wow. Anong kotse to?
Sasakyan to ng friend ko eh, parang van. So the event that we joined, medyo nakakalungkot kasi inulan siya, nawalan ng kuryente, yung ganon. So talagang, that's how I started. I also started na wala akong staff. It was just me. I was doing everything from accounting, from marketing, lahat. Pati yung pag-setup sa event, ako mismo yung cargador. So, a lot of these things I started na ako lang. And then eventually, I started to have interns. I started to hire my own team. And then, yun, eventually I had my own manufacturing company. Kahit tumalo na ako doon.
Galing. So actually, this is one thing important, Tal, no? A lot of people, especially, okay, there is a specific pool of prestige, quote unquote, for corporate, right?
Sure.
And this is one of the reasons why a lot of people either are, number one, attracted, but number two, afraid to leave because they're afraid to start from the bottom again. Diba? And all entrepreneurs and their stories, diba, they started small. Like in your case, you started at the back of your car. Not all people have that courage or that perhaps humility to start at the bottom, right? Or to be seen starting there.
For me, there's really no shame. Kasi even until now, like, whenever I experience like kasi business is always like a roller coaster eh. Like you're not always okay. Like right now, a lot of us are at the bottom probably because of this pandemic and everything that's happening. But there's no shame because it's yours.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter how you begin. And actually, there's a lot of advantage coming from people that already experienced the corporate world because you already have the experience. You have experience working with people. You have the experience, kumbaga, hopefully managing teams, or you know what's not nice about the boss, so you don't want to be like that. You know, all those things. It should actually encourage you more, not hinder you. Because you've gained some experience. Yeah, you don't know anything about starting a business, but a lot of people don't that started their own businesses. I didn't know anything. I didn't even know what shoe parts are called. I didn't even know. Really, that's where I also got my energy. Like now, when I was, I decided I wanted to impart this knowledge that I learned because I went through that process that there was no, like, buti nga ngayon, internet is, the information online is good already. dumadami na yung workshops. But when I started, there was nothing there. Even if I
Yeah.
wanted to study it, we didn't have a school here for shoes.
Yeah.
So, mahirap talaga. But you just have to um, kind of risk kung gusto mo na talaga siya.
Yeah.
Ako yun lang. Basta you really like what you are going into.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sige. Um, sige. So perhaps we can dive more into the slides. I think we
Ay,
have
sige.
a couple more.
Ano ba yung gusto nyong i-share? Marami yan. So I started nga small, but I also started
Manila
doing
Fame.
bigger events. Yeah. So my first big event was Manila Fame in 2013. I did a couple of events internationally, like in New York,
Wow.
in New York, in Singapore, so Korea, ganun. So iba-iba. I didn't did I have the slides for that? This is one of the things that enabled me to really take the business seriously. When I was in another school that I went to, medyo adik ako mag-aral dati. Um, I also studied entrepreneurship to help me kasi parang kulang na feeling ko na kulang na. Nung time na study ako fashion, okay, I got the fashion here, pero dahil nga I stopped management, kulang naman na yung alam ko for business. So I always have that thirst for learning more. So when I was there, I was studying entrepreneurship. I got into a competition, Global Student Entrepreneur Awards by Entrepreneur Organization.
EO.
And then EO, yes, EO. So first we had the local rounds, and then we had so I was chosen as one of the 5 finalists, and then we were sent to Malaysia to compete. And then I was the one chosen from Malaysia to be sent to Washington to compete with entrepreneurs all over the world. So from there, doon ko na-realize na, hey, may potential pala yung business ko talaga. Like, people believed in the advocacy, people believe in what we're trying to do. So after noon, kasi before this, so I was just doing events. I had my little, may store na ba ako nito? Wala pa. I don't think I had my showroom yet. Before this, wala. I didn't have a physical space. I didn't even have a real office. So after that, pag uwi ko, talagang sineryoso ko na yung business. Kasi, more people are looking at what I'm doing.
Yeah.
They're expecting more of me. So I was able to open my first showroom. This is in Katipunan. And then I was lucky. I think I just opened myself to the idea that I wanted to have my own manufacturing because I felt that was how I can scale my business. So from there, I was able to find an angel investor, and I was able to put up my own manufacturing facility, and then our pop-up store in Glorieta in 2015.
Yeah.
So, yun, I think when you open yourself to opportunities, they happen at the right time when you're ready to receive and act on those opportunities.
Galing. So yung when you added the new revenue stream from retail to manufacturing, that was 2 years, no?
Yes.
2 years?
Yes.
Galing. Okay. So sa manufacturing part, you mentioned earlier that, for example, if I want to be a shoepreneur, I can partner with you. I can approach you, Tal, and then you can perhaps teach me.
Yes, actually. So we have this collective called Stride Collective. So this is a group of shoe brands that, well, about 95% of these are all manufactured by us. So kumbaga, I try to help them from knowing nothing to like eventually starting their own business. How I do that, actually, karoon ako lang, sige, share ko na lang din.
Sige.
I have a pivot kasi nga everyone's going online right now, di ba? So, of course, this was tried is online. We have a store. We have a physical store. But I said, I think I need to pivot also the business, like the retail, the manufacturing side of the business. So, Sorry, not that one, this one. So I put up my own website for people who want to start their own shoe business. So,
Mm-hmm.
kumbaga, madali lang. I make it easy for people to start their own shoe business. So, step 1, choose your design. Like, may available designs na ako. Step 2, add your branding. Step 3, learn the business. So, we have workshops for you like that. So, they just go to our website, pili lang sila ng design and add their logo. That's it.
Galing.
Yeah.
So,
Yung
so,
everything
so,
right now.
para kang para kang incubator ng shoe
Yeah.
businesses.
I guess that's how we
From idea to
yes.
market.
But we also manufacture for brands na they have their own design. So a lot of our brands, they go through the product development process kasi I'm also very careful about working with our brand partners na hindi sila pare-pareho ng designs. And I think we're kakaiba with other manufacturers kasi our clients actually can know each other. They can hindi namin tinatago stuff
Yeah.
with each other. Parang we also because we want them to respect one another. That's the kind of community that we want to have because this is a very small industry and we want everyone to be able to really help each other as well. So, yung mga brand owners namin, nakakatawa. Like, minsan tatanungan sila, saan mo nabili itong ganitong materials? Saan nanggaling to?
Galing. Okay, so this is good news, no, for everyone who wants to go into the shoe business. Perhaps you can contact Tal, or go to her website. Is this website up already, Tal?
Yes, actually, it's here, risquemanufacturing.com.
Ayan. So yeah, everyone who's watching, 200 plus viewers, you can go here, risquemanufacturing.com. If you are interested in a shoe business, Miss Tal will Miss
Miss ka lang.
Miss Tal will help you out, no?
Yeah,
So
we
there are a
also
lot of go ahead.
have the workshops nga. So I have there was slide for that. Hold on, sorry ha. I'm trying to So I have workshops. So meron kami from Shoeprintership. I call it Shoeprintership. So basically taking you from parang knowing the ins and outs of the business. Parang crash course to shoe business 101, ganon.
Galing.
And then we have sandal making classes for you to experience, like how it is to make a shoe or a sandal. And then a lot of different things that you can ask us help from. Before nga nakakagawa pa ako ng parang supplier tour in Marikina. Like I take you around suppliers, material suppliers. And to be honest, people ask me why I do that. Parang, aren't you like sharing your secrets? Like, di ba? Kasi material suppliers, parang,
yes.
di ba? Usually secrets yun ng company. Pero for me, like, how can this industry grow kung parang things are secretive? Diba? Parang, like, kasi na-experience ko, a lot of the designers, nagko-complain sila na konti yung materials that are available locally. And a lot of the suppliers naman, magko-complain sila, kasi konti yung pumupunta, konti yung mga clients pa rin. So for me, okay, sige, edi damihan natin yung mga pumupunta. So for me, I started bringing in people just randomly, just going around. Oh, that's also one thing na, bigla ko lang ginawa. Hindi naman ako nagpaalam. Nagdala ako ng mga tao sa kanila. I just, my first tours, biglang nandun ako, hi kuya, may mga estudyante ako, ikot ko lang sila. And then, yun, eventually, they got to know me. They give discounts to our students. And then, parang, basta, mas natutuwa lang sila na more people are coming into Marikina. And sabi ko, eventually, that will help din kasi people will ask more about things. And then, may-realize ng suppliers, ay, may demand pala. So, magdadala sila ng bagong things. And matutuwa rin naman yung mga mga clients kasi syempre dadami yung mga laman. And hopefully it will also benefit not us but also other manufacturers na yun, basically for me my whole goal is everyone benefits. People don't have to manufacture with us. I always tell my students like that na I don't mind if you don't work with us, because of course we are not the cheapest manufacturer. We are a social enterprise. We pay higher labor costs and everything. But I'd rather it goes to someone in Marikina or someone here in the Philippines and help others, kasi kung magpapagawa ka rin kaysa sa labas, di ba?
Mm.
Just have it done here. So there.
Interesting. It's a very it's like
Oops.
an open innovation, community
Oh,
building
yes,
attitude.
that's how we want this to be like. So so yun nga. So with that idea of a community, we eventually put up Stride Collective together. So this
Yeah.
was we opened Stride in 2018. So nag-start lang siya, tinanong ko yung mga brand owners namin, will you be interested to come together? We can share resources, we can probably go to events together kasi mahal din mag-event. Baka we
Mm.
can share the rent, share whatever. So yun. And now we have an online store. This is our store in Marikina, pero sadly, we're actually hit by the pandemic kasi this is a boutique store. So one of our challenges is the walk-ins.
Yeah.
Wala kami sa mall, and even malls, konti pa rin tao right now.
Yeah.
So this one eventually will have to be closing down.
Yeah. Yeah. Sige, we'll go into the challenges a
Sige.
bit later, but there are
Sure.
a few questions from our audience.
Ay, yeah.
Okay, sige, I'll go ahead and ask this from Joshua Adaw. No? Good morning po, Miss Tal. Ask ko lang po, what will be your advice to those who want to pursue shoepreneurship in the future?
Okay. Usually what I would advise those who start with us is to start small. Kasi you don't know yet your market. So, siguro start ka lang with like 3 designs. Tapos, kasi may iba gusto ko 10 designs. Ganyan, ang dami nilang gusto. But that also means more capital for you na ilalabas. Allow yourself time to test the market. Allow yourself time to test yourself kung gusto mo ba talaga to. And if you find like after doing it, this this is what I want. This is how I think I see myself trying to do this for a bit, then go for it. Then design more, work with more manufacturers, or work more with your manufacturer, but start small. Yun lang talaga. Well, I know people can get really excited when starting something, and parang naengganyo yung mga tao na, okay, damihan ko na agad yung gagawin kong design para maraming options. But in reality, the more options you give to people, the more na nahihirapan sila pumili.
Okay.
So, and ikaw rin, you're also giving yourself such a hard time on the back end. Na ang dami. Gusto mo mag-cater ng lahat ng gusto nila. But you can't really. You have to really know which markets you want to go into and you want to focus on.
Market experimentation.
Yes.
And start small. Okay. So I hope that answers your question, Joshua. Okay.
Yes, I
Another
hope so.
question from Carter. Is there any doubt when you were just starting, since, as you said, you did not have any connections when you first started?
I had so much doubts. I didn't know anything, as I said. I didn't have connections, but it also opens you up to a lot of possibilities. Kasi if I had too many connections also, I would have probably been boxed in by the same things that people were doing. But having no connections, not knowing anything, enabled me to explore and do things that other people were not really doing at that time. And to apply things like, for example, I started doing the carved heels, I incorporated the weaves. I was able to incorporate things that are not usually done during that, were not usually done during that time. Yeah, so okay lang, there will be doubts. There will always be doubts. It's okay.
But I think the important thing there, Talno, is despite the doubts, you still act.
Yeah. The doubts will be there, but I guess when you start doing something, then that's the time you get to answer if those doubts will um, hinder you to the point of not being able to continue,
Mm-hmm.
or yun ba yung makakatulong sa'yo para i-improve yung business mo? Or so many things can be answered once you start acting on those doubts. Yung parang hanapin, tanungin mo, bakit nga ba ako nagdududa
Yeah.
about this? And then once you start asking them, then eventually, you'll discover more about the business and yourself.
Very nice. Okay. Another question here. It's about competition. The question is asked by Lady Santos. So her question was, since I think she was trying to say that the shoe market is very crowded. There are a lot of competition. How do you perhaps wade the competition?
Well, totoo yun. Marami talagang shoes. Maraming lalabas na shoe brands pa rin as we go along. But ako yun yung na-realize ko over the years. Maraming magta-try, but there were, because to be honest, the shoe business is not as easy, it's not like accessories or clothing na pwedeng unisex, or pwedeng either unisex or just one size, free size, ganyan. So shoes, you have to think about the sizing, the fit, the height, everything. So marami, nahihirapan sila along the way. And of course, dumadaming competition. Pero kapag hindi ka nag-focus sa market mo, and you get distracted by what everyone else is doing, yun yung a lot of times why some companies close, some shoe brands close. And ako, I try my best to be different from them. Like as a brand, not just a manufacturer, I try to be different in terms of design. And I think that's how I want to encourage more people to go, like to design more, to not just see what's trendy and then start it. Of course, that can be a starting point. But and a lot of the brands that I work with started like that. Like
Yeah.
ano ba yung sikat ngayon na designs, ano yung mabenta. But eventually they venture into having their own designs. And it's really a lot about there's really the importance of marketing and how you sell yourself. Kasi no matter how good the designs are, kapag hindi mo naman siya pinapakita sa iba and you don't show it well, sayang naman.
Yeah.
And that's how you really talagang get yourself above other brands. Am I
Okay.
able to answer her?
Yes, I think this is very important, no. So I think I agree with you, Tal. No, so a lot of entrepreneurs, and this is what we tell our incubatees also. You can't sell to everyone.
Yes.
You need to
True.
really understand your market, experiment through your market, and as you said, no, you need to present your products really well, because even if the designs or the product is really built well, if you don't communicate that well to the public or to your target market, it's not gonna fly. So yeah, I think it really answered the question. Sophia actually is Sophia Abino has a very interesting question.
Yeah, okay.
She's asking, what's your advice for people who already are running a business? As you mentioned, Kenya, di ba, you were doing everything when you started, accounting, sales, marketing, pagbuhat sa mga sa mga shows na and everything. So, what among all those things, what should you focus on as a startup entrepreneur to be able to scale up rapidly? Is it marketing? Is it finance, cash flow management? Ano ba?
Okay, so of course, when you're starting a business, madalas ang focus mo is either the product or the branding. Kadalasan. Of course, you perfect your product, you perfect your, and then you focus on really like getting, I guess, attention to your product. Pero a lot of the things that people forget is yung boring na part, which is the numbers.
Okay.
And that one I had to learn really hard when I started. Actually, I knew naman like at the back of my head na important siya.
Yeah.
And it's something that I should be focusing on. Pero you only realize how important it is kapag there are things not working in your business. So what
Okay.
I'm pointing to is your numbers, your accounting, everything, data. A lot of the businesses that I have observed, my friends' businesses that I've observed, ano sila, very obsessed sila into gathering their data. And that I just don't mean na parang yung data privacy stuff like
Yeah.
sino it's more of parang anong clients ba yung bumibili, anong klaseng clients bumibili sa akin, through what channels sila bumibili, how often sila bumibili, yung mga ganong bagay. And then also like the nitty-gritty of your business na parang kumikita ka pa ba? And then baka naman ang dami mong products pero isa lang pala yung kumikita. And for me, it was also it was an eye opener for me kasi so I opened I opened my Glorieta store in 2015. And then I started doing my masters in entrepreneurship 2018. And then okay naman kasing Glorieta for a while. But the third year was kind of challenging for us, which was around 2018. Parang nag-iiba yung market, nag-iiba yung parang foot traffic in the mall that we were in and everything. So parang nung ina-analyze na namin yung numbers part ng business ko during that time, dun ko na-realize, oh my gosh, my manufacturing is subsidizing my store. It's not doing enough for it to be really okay. So that's when I decided, okay, I'm closing that down.
Okay.
Part of me, parang before, parang feeling ko, nakakahiya ba yun? Kasi parang, shucks, kailangan mo magsara ng store. Pero I also thought, well, there are, like for example, my friend Reese Fernandez, like there was also a time that they had of Rags to Riches. There's also a time that they had to close down some stores. And when I saw Rags to Riches doing that, which is actually a bigger social enterprise than us,
Yeah.
I realized, well, what's the shame in it if that's what makes your company healthier?
Yes.
Diba? So, yung ganun, parang you have to, as an entrepreneur, you have to act on the pain points of your business. Of course, there's too many things going on that you have to touch there and improve. Pero,
Yeah.
siguro, it's really case to case. Eh. So, but don't forget to look at your numbers.
Yeah.
Parang, ay, hindi ko na pala kaya or parang, ang taas na pala ng cost namin for something.
Yeah.
Really focus on that.
Yeah. Tama total, no? The most successful founders I know are, as you said, data obsessed. And they really keep cash flow really tight. As in, hawak talaga nila. They know the ins and outs of all their profit and loss statements, their financial models, the whole thing, no? And actually, this is something I really appreciated. When we started already getting revenue in my startup, and if you cannot control kasi what you cannot measure, no? So for example, things like you're correct, no? Yung the demographic of your consumer, which SKUs or which particular product lines are selling more. Like anong age niyan, anong characteristic niyan. So yung mga customer persona analysis, di ba? Mga ganyan. No? So you can, once you understand them, this kasi, the better, number one, your products will be, the better marketing you'll be able to execute, and the better branding you'll be able to create. Kasi you already really know your customer, right? And all these psychographics, demographics, age, all these things. And more importantly, I think with cash flow management, most of the businesses that I know, even Fortune 500 companies, failed because of cash flow management. They don't know where the money's coming from. They just know it came in. They don't know where they're investing the money. They don't know how many percent should go to manufacturing, to inventory management, to manpower. They don't know, no? So, the, and here's the thing. Ang sinasabi lang, I have a bookkeeper, I have an accountant. But you as a founder, if you don't know that, mahihirapan ka to really, make strategic decisions for your business. Yeah.
Yeah. Dapat talaga ikaw yung may alam nung parang even the nitty-gritties of your business. Parang don't overlook it. It's something na even ako, I committed that mistake. Like, sige, accounting lang naman yan. Pwedeng gawin ng iba yan. Pero sa totoo lang, you really have to understand it.
Yeah.
Pero cash flow is always a problem of a lot of businesses. So if you're having a problem managing that, that's okay, especially at this time. That's what I keep on reiterating, like, especially at this time, we're in this situation, it's hard for everyone. So if you just started your business, or if you just if you're in that situation, okay lang. I guess the main goal right now is not, for a lot of companies, it's not even to scale, it's just to survive at this point. And that's really okay. If you just survive this, oh my gosh, give yourself like a lot of medals already. Kasi
Yeah.
a lot of companies already closed.
Yeah. So sige, since we're talking about that, Tal, you were mentioning that you were heavily affected by the pandemic.
Yes.
So what are these challenges, syempre, apart from cash flow
Of
issues?
course.
So what are other things that you're having problems with, and how are you navigating, as you said, survival mode for COVID-19? Yeah.
Okay. So, siguro i-share ko lang saglit, like, how we were last year. Sorry, not that one. Last year.
Okay.
Last year was probably one of our, I guess,
Biggest years.
better, bigger or best years, I guess. Kasi I was able to, kasi before, since we are social enterprise nga, we're also trying to provide good benefits to our people and everything. Last year, talaga mas naramdaman ko na we were able to give that more. Like, we were even able to bring them to the beach. I was able to give them a lot of trainings, like financial literacy trainings. We were able to bring them to events, ganyan. We had a good Christmas. So yung mga ganung bagay, I was very happy. And then this happened. So for us, like, maybe 1.5 months, we had almost zero sales, but money was still going out because I was giving them something. Our sales were down to about 1/4 of our usual monthly in the months that followed. And then a lot of delays, a lot of productivity was really decreased kasi close kami for about 1.5 months. Pero hindi rin, eventually we reopened slowly. I'll talk about that. And I personally had a COVID scare. Like, I thought I had COVID, pero buti wala. So when we reopened, we had to re-shut down. Parang ganon. So those kinds of challenges. So, sorry. So for me, attempting to restart was so difficult kasi parang wala akong energy. Parang I didn't know how to begin. And wala man lang kaming, like, I can't operate. I was a shoe business. We weren't an essential. So, yung iba, nakikita ko yung mga friends ko, nag-start na gumawa ng face shields, ng mask, ganyan. So, parang ako, what do I do? Our skill sets are actually different from, let's say, bag makers or whatever. So, it started when a good friend of mine just asked, "Uy, pwede ba kayo mag-cut ng foam para sa face shields?" So,
ayun sa forehead, no? Yung
forehead.
Yeah.
sige, cutting lang naman. So, sige, sure, I'll bring in some of my stuff. So,
Yeah.
yun lang, parang napakaliit na bagay, foam lang, like what you see there.
Mhm.
And eventually, I I started doing, sige, baka naman we can start doing masks and PPEs. So I had some clients coming to us saying, oh, baka you can make masks naman kasi we want to donate, stuff like that. But I also have to like exercise a lot of humility kasi I even asked my friends, do you have work that you can give to our workers? Kasi
Mhm.
I just really want them to have some sort of income kasi we can't
Mhm.
do shoes yet during this time, during the MECQ. But eventually, so that role, eventually I was able to have more people come in kasi nung time na to, I allowed them to stay in the production facility para to lessen the movement and also yung risk na mahawakan sila or anything. And then I started when we started doing masks, doon ko na-realize, okay, well, I have a lot of weaves na hindi ginagamit kasi usually I will use this for shoes.
Mm.
But then, okay, since may demand for masks, then why don't I start using them for masks naman? So, biglang ang lakas nito. So, talagang hindi na kami maka-keep up nung start.
Wow.
Yeah, kasi we have to have it pre-ordered then gagawin namin.
Yes.
Kasi nga, limited yung weaves namin. Ganyan. So, lumakas naman siya. And then, I partnered with a friend that was doing bio armor. So, it's like a
Yeah.
spray to better protect. So, after that, doon ko na-realize na, okay, may demand for this, but this is not something that will be there forever.
Yeah.
So dahil
Yeah.
dumadami na rin yung gumagawa ng masks using weaves, eventually, this thing waned then for us. Tapos, nagkaroon pa ako ng additional challenges. Like, just, because I'm in the facility that I have, which is this one here. This one.
Yeah.
We were there for 5 years. But then, we had to move in less than a month. Kasi apparently, the building that we were in was already sold. And we were given about a month to
Yeah.
move. So I had to find a place, have it renovated, and then move everything in
Stress.
less than a month.
Na-imagine ko yung stress mo, Tal.
So it's not just like physical stress, it's also financial stress because this
Yeah.
is another like at this time I need to give new like deposits, new
Yeah. Everything.
have to spend for renovation and stuff. So hindi siya mura. Hindi siya
Yeah.
mura. There. So now I'm glad we're able to move naman. We're there already and syempre na-affect din nun yung production namin kasi I had to stop for about 2 weeks. About 1.5 weeks to get it going. So yun, it's challenging, but now we're hoping that we'll be able to like build this momentum that we have right now.
Yeah.
Parang, well, slowly, it's still slow, it's still very slow, but we're hoping to really pick up the business now.
Yeah. It's actually a very good segue to the next question I'm going to ask you. This is from Yui Diamante. And it takes personally, and I admire you, Tal, no, for still being here, trying to survive. And I know it's really, really hard to run a business, especially during COVID. And thank you for sharing your story. It must have been hard to, share that to 200 plus people. But then, how do you keep yourself motivated still? No, so what is the most important entrepreneurial characteristic in your opinion? Should anyone have to be crisis resilient, to be still motivated despite all of the challenges, because this will not be the last, right? We might have another COVID, or in other cases, in other countries, these are wars. but my point is, challenges will not stop. So what keeps you motivated to continue, Tal?
For me, totoo lang, what keeps me motivated and also what makes me cry sometimes is that I have people that are relying on me. Like
Mhm.
people that I have to pay, people that
Yeah.
will literally have like nothing to eat, 'di ba? If
Mm.
you don't get to pay them weekly.
Yeah.
It's not like they have a lot of savings that they can um, draw from
Mm.
in these cases. So that's what keeps me going. That's for me. That's my why.
Mhm.
So I guess for a lot of people, you have to find out why you're doing this. For me,
Mm.
it's really because well, of course, I want to be able to to give to provide a positive impact to the industry, but also I guess which is the goal of entrepreneurship is to provide livelihood for
Yeah.
people. And for me, that what keeps me up at night. Like, okay nang may hindi ako babayarang iba basta makapagpasweldo ako.
Yeah.
Um, that's my only parang what keeps me up at night
Mhm.
all the time. How do I keep people employed? Like, of course, everyone needs to. It doesn't say that. Of course, I can't. You can't make some sacrifices. There will be some sacrifices. Like, for our team, sinasabi ko, well, we have kasi we didn't lay off anyone.
Yeah.
Lahat kami, well, our team, ginawa ko parang naka-shifting sila. So, lesser days, but still at the same salary rate that they have for their dailies. So pero in-encourage ko sila lagi na parang you all if you can find other ways you can also augment your income, then go for it. Like I would be happy if you would do that kasi at this time we're doing what we can, but of course we can't do everything for you right now. We're also trying to survive as a business. So I think just the transparency,
Yeah.
to say that to your people. And yun nga yung nagmo-motivate sa akin na ako right now, my motivation is survival and
Mhm.
to allow others to survive also. Kasi
Yeah.
sobrang dami ng nagsarang shoe business, sobrang dami ng walang trabaho. I don't want to add to that number.
Yes.
I mean, I guess in better situation, my motivation is a more, kumbaga, mas malalaki pang bagay.
Mm.
Yung motivation ko. But right now, it's just surviving for everyone that we are trying to affect. Because it's not just us, it's also, of course, other suppliers, also our shoe brands
Yeah.
that are relying on us. Like, I can't just close. I'm manufacturing for a lot of brands. So
Yeah.
if I stop, their businesses also stop. So I can't do that
Mm.
as well. And some of them are also providing jobs as well.
Yeah.
So so all these things you have to just think about.
Mm.
And yeah,
Yeah.
hindi ka niyo papatulugin.
I think nga it's different na tal no when you have people relying on you because these are families. Like each of these employees represent family units. It represent dreams and hopes. No, so it will really take a toll on you, right? But at the same time, it keeps you motivated. As you said, no, uh, to push and to persist. This is what I think. You're correct. This is what entrepreneurship is all about: is to create jobs, to be able to provide livelihood for a lot of people. Not anymore when you're at this stage. It's not anymore about money. It's not anymore about having material possessions, but about significance and being able to make sure that the people who are relying on you can still rely on you. And Tal, I think I mentioned off cam earlier that uh, there will be a post-pandemic boom, and this is true. Something I truly believe for the industry sector, for the fashion sector, and for all other industries that are non-essential. And yeah, people should just keep holding on until that time comes, which hopefully will be resolved soon. And hopefully the Philippine government will shape up to be able to help businesses like you.
Can I share something about that?
Yes, yes, of course.
Okay, so I have been the type of person that I really don't want to rely on what the government gives us.
Mhm.
We are not in the we are not sadly our government is not like the others that we would
Yeah.
envy, that would support startups, that would
Yeah.
support businesses as full as they can. So kumbaga inisip ko na lang wala sila.
Yeah.
I'm on my own. I have resources, I have friends, I have these. I rely on what I have here that's more tangible for me. Kasi to be honest, I've had a lot of I've had some disappointments when it comes to working with some government institutions, but there are also some that are good, that are trying to really do well
Yeah.
and are led by good people. Pero these things change eh. As much as we want to be like in a perfect world, okay sana that they'll be there to support us. But you just have to um, be resilient enough that even if things change, even if it's good kung matulungan ka nila, but
Bonus na lang. No?
oo, bonus lang yan. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. That's just my take. I mean, a lot of people, of course, maybe their projects rely on government projects or whatever. But for me, mas gusto ko lang to survive as a business. Yeah, not necessarily kailangan ko yun.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I have a question ata.
Sige lang. Tal, if you want to answer a question. Go.
Hold on. I think. Okay. So Robert asked, how much did involving the Filipino culture on your business affect your growth? What's your opinion on culture-based businesses? Um, for me, that got me attention when I was starting, because during the time that I was starting it, not a lot of people were doing it. But of course now marami nang gumagawa nun, so you have to be also different. Not just about using materials, it's using it with good design, with good practices, and being really good about it, because people can see through BS. And like ako pinaka pet peeve ko, like people saying, oh, they're trying to help this community, pero yun naman pala dumaan sila sa middleman, yung pala wala, kumukuha lang sila doon pero wala naman talagang effect. And right now, for culture-based businesses, I think there's a lot more issues of sensitivity, like let's say cultural appropriation when it comes to using local textiles. And for shoes, it's even more, because that's why I always tell this to my clients when they start working with us. If you want to use local materials, please make sure that you're going direct to the weavers. You're making sure that they're getting good pay, and also na pwede yung material mo for shoes. Kasi there are some weaves that are not even allowed to be on shoes. Some of local materials, basta siya to put sa paa kasi tinatapakan siya. So you have to be aware of these cultural sensitivities. Hindi dahil lang local textile yan, pwede mo na gamitin ng kahit anong paraan na gusto mo. Baka mamaya, yung weave na napili mo, hindi pala pwede gawing swimwear, pero yung brand mo, mga bikini. So, yung mga ganon, we have to be respectful, because these are entire cultures na and they have their own traditions. We have to be respectful if you're going to be using their materials. So that's very important for me. That's why I wanted to answer that. Thank you for that good question.
Galing. Okay. Marvin has a question. Good morning, Ms. Tal. Question po, what is the minimum quantity? So I think this is, he's thinking already. So, what's the minimum quantity to start small, just to give an idea to other people who want to take risk on this industry?
Okay,
so, I'm curious also.
So for me, I really want to be as accessible as possible to startup brands. So dun sa website, if you're going to our website, risquemanufacturing.com, the minimum for that is just 5 pairs.
Oh,
Yeah. Pero if you want your own design, our minimum is 20 pairs, which is also not a lot. Kasi yung 20 pairs na yun, pwede mo pang split sa 2 colors. Tapos assorted sizes na yun. So, ganun lang kaliit. Kasi some companies, yung minimums nila, let's say 100 pairs,
mhm.
which is a lot for a startup brand. So yeah, I just want to be really accessible for people who just want to try it. And it works. I think that model. I keep telling my clients na I don't care if you don't give a big order right now. What I care more is that you last as a brand. Kasi
Yeah,
of course
yeah.
at the end of the day, magbe-benefit din naman yung company namin, yung mga staff namin kasi you're ordering more rather than nag-order ka ng malaki and then next time wala ka ng order kasi hindi mo pala nabenta. So,
Mhm.
I'd rather that brands are able to sustain themselves by going slow rather than going big and then dying.
Do you also help, like, aside from manufacturing the shoes, do you also help in branding, marketing, since you've already done it?
Yes. So I at least on an advisory level, definitely they have they're able to talk to me if they need to understand better. They can take my workshops if they want to like learn it faster.
Mm.
But we're very open. Like they can also even ask other brands to like for advice like bakit ito mabenta sa'yo, what do you do, and we've learned a lot from like even me I've learned a lot from a lot of our more successful brands, um
Mm.
paano to market better, bakit ang lakas mo, bakit yung iba hindi ganun kalakas yung brand
Yeah,
nila.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Galing. So 20
Oh,
pairs.
that's
So
a nice
pwede ba
question.
yung 5 pairs na yun? Pwede bang akin lang yun?
Pwede naman. Also different sizes yon. Pero pwede rin naman. Pero ano yun na, one design yon. One
One
design siya.
design.
Kasi of
Okay.
course, we still have to be, it has to be economical for us also.
Yes,
Kasi if it's
yes.
one pair, it's the price of that is like a made-to-order shoe.
Tama, tama.
Same siya as a prototype. So yan.
Mm.
Oh, we have a nice question. If you had to face the situation of really needing to let go of people, how will you handle it? Okay. Before, of course, I've let go of people, either because of hindi namin kaya sustain or because of performances. Of course, that's dealt differently. But right now, ako, what's important to me is talking to people because they are people.
Yeah.
I hope I don't get to come to that point, but if I do, um, I think iiyak ako. Iiyak ako.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how that. But of course, it's it's harder kasi if I think for people who have let's say 1,000 people under them, sometimes they just see them as numbers
Yeah.
already. But with SMEs, usually you don't you still know your people
Yeah.
and you also are connected to them. So handling it is probably gonna be so difficult if I have to go there.
Pamilya mo na yan eh. Sa totoo
Yes.
lang, di ba?
I will try to help them as much as I can.
Yeah.
Maybe to place them in a different job if I can, or maybe refer them to someone else if I can, or because some of them are trying to start side businesses. So if
Yeah.
he has plans, if they have plans to do that, then maybe there's a way I can support them. If that happens, then I'm sure we'll still try to support them as much as we can through the transition.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's a good question.
Galing, galing. Coral Miguel Evangelista.
Coral, yeah. Coral Miguel. Thank you for that.
Alright. So,
Very real. Real talk yun.
oo nga eh. Talagang naramdaman ko yun, tal. Kasi
Real talk.
like I was faced with that like last month actually. So I had to let go of a few people. Kasi nga, hindi na, the cash flow, diba? But as you said earlier, so they started their own businesses, which I am also helping them do,
Yeah.
and place them in another company. You know.
Yeah.
And even actually, we like for the other business I'm running, we even hired people from ABS-CBN
Oh, wow.
because nga of the, di ba maraming nangyari with ABS. So, ang daming, pati yung top officials sila were laid off. Like, head
Yeah.
of this, di ba, not only the ones, di ba, the rank and file, but also managerial and above were also let go. Yeah, so I think, is there, if I want to start as an entrepreneur in general, uh, or I'm just thinking of it, I'm not sure if it's for me, but I'm hearing the talk. I'm interested to learn. What's the first thing you think I should do if I want to get into business style?
Well, medyo different in my case kasi very passion-driven yung sa akin.
Yeah.
But I think with a lot of with a lot of people that I know, it started with doing something that they're actually either they actually really like, they're passionate about, or at least something that you're interested in. Don't go into something na mabobore ka lang because you're not
Tama.
gonna last. Believe me, if sobrang magka-problema, isasara mo lang yan. Sayang ng effort mo.
Yeah.
So, the first thing to do is maybe scan things that you want to get into or parang naglalaro lang sa isip mo na parang, mukhang kaya ko tong gawin ah. And then, try to study upon it, read upon it, check what's out there. Baka mamaya, kasi a lot of people, akala nila, sobrang innovative ng idea nila. Pero hindi pa pala kasi sila nag-research about it. So, even with, I experienced that with people coming to me with designs na they think are innovative, but I told them that's not. Please do your research because that's been done. That's actually patented. So, so there are those things that you just really need to do once you find something you actually like, research and then go.
Yeah.
Go for it. As in, because especially if you think it's a really smart idea, it's something that's hopefully innovative, then go for it. Because if you don't, someone else will. You have to start agad as soon as possible. Kahit na wala ka masyadong capital, kahit na hindi pa masyadong maganda hindi pa malinis yung idea, okay lang, it's okay. You'll learn along the way.
Yeah.
You'll probably commit mistakes, hopefully, but of course, I'm not disregarding the planning that goes into it. Of course, that's important. But a lot of people don't start because they're hindered by over-planning.
Analysis paralysis, no?
Analysis paralysis na yan for a lot of people. Parang minsan may iba nakakausap ako, kunyari, gusto ko yung ganitong business. Pero 5 years down the line, sinasabi pa rin nila sa akin, gusto ko magtayo ng business.
Hindi pa nagagawa. Madami yan.
Nagagawa. Ang dami talagang ganon. So you have to start. No matter how small it is, kahit na, for me, how I started it was, I registered my business. Kahit DTI lang. I started with DTI, hindi pa ako corporation nun. Kasi the only reason I wanted to, I don't want anyone to take the name Risque. Ganun ka-simple. And then sabi ko, okay, ni-register ko na siya. Sayang na.
Gawin ko na.
Or parang as simple as, pag kunyari product-based ka, paggawa ka ng prototype or kung mausap ka ng something small, something doable for you, that can be a step. Anything, whatever that is, eventually magtutuloy-tuloy yan. Just start. Just start. That's it.
That's just do it, no? Just do it.
Do something.
Yeah.
Yun na yun.
You know, I had this mentor before I mentioned. No? I think until now naman we still keep in touch. And he was always telling me, Roland, there's a very big difference between an entrepreneur and a wantrepreneur.
Yeah. Si Mark Cuban says that a lot.
Di ba?
Yeah.
Mark Cuban, sabi niya, yung negosyante, idea to execution, ilang weeks lang yan. Yung wantrepreneur, yung sinasabi lang, Puro
Yeah.
salita, di ba? Hindi yan
Wala,
mga
walang
5 years
mangyayari.
pa.
Yeah. So, it's that. A lot of people have good ideas, but they
Yeah,
don't jump in.
yeah,
And that's
yeah,
what you should do.
yeah. I think to be honest, ideas are cheap. That's like everyone has ideas, no? But
Yeah.
the ability to execute and to execute well is what separates successful people and those who are not yet. No, but
Yeah.
so for everyone here who's watching, who you have an idea or you don't have an idea yet, but you want to be an entrepreneur, do something. No? You take the first step. There is no magic pill. There is no proven formula to success or to entrepreneurship. Everyone, as you know, all experts started as a beginner. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. Just take the first step. Like Tal, diba? And she built this shoe empire, and
Marami akong mali na ginawa along the way.
and I think that's the only way to learn. You can't learn entrepreneurship in a classroom. You can't read yourself into success, right?
And you just really have to, but what you have to be, what you have to keep on doing is to keep learning.
Mm,
Um, don't stop. Parang kahit na feeling mo ang dami mo ng alam about
yeah,
your industry, probably eventually along the way, just keep on learning. Baka there are also some industries that you can parang mix in with your what you're doing right now to make yourself more innovative. All those things. Um, for me, I think what I can say to whoever's watching right now in terms of starting your own business or jumping into entrepreneurship is to think of it this way. Like if you're employed, of course you're able to sustain yourself, maybe your family. But with a business, may multiplier yan. You're not just able
mm,
to sustain yourself, your family. You're able to sustain how many other families that you
yes,
will
yes.
be employing. Let's say sabihin mo meron kang maliit na bigasan, meron ka lang
Mm,
isang empleyado doon. For sure, kumikita siguro yung negosyo mo, hopefully, dahil tumutuloy siya. Pero kahit na isa yung tao mo, isang tao pa rin yun or isang pamilya pa rin yun,
mm,
they're able to feed. So if you think of it that way, then I think that's a good motivator for
yes, yes.
others to start their own business. Because he, hindi siya madali. I will tell you, it's not a no way in hell. it's easy, but it's also the most rewarding.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
also the fulfillment of owning something
Yes,
is really different.
yes, yes.
Kung kung magkamali man yan, your business fails, that's okay even.
Mm,
Because ikaw yun eh. It's still you. Um, if that flies, then wow, di ba? You can say to yourself, I'm, I did this. This
yes,
is what I've built. These are the people whose lives I'm affecting.
yeah.
This is the industry that I'm trying to impact. So yeah, I'm just saying that there's a multiplier effect with entrepreneurship.
Thank you very much for that, Tal. Last question, no,
Okay.
before I turn it over to Janina again to close the session. So I think 90% of our viewers are students,
Sure.
and they're looking up to you, to people who went before them already. And most of our students, because are engineers, are in tech. You know?
Cool.
And a lot of them, I think, in this particular session, there are a lot of people in the Startup Academy, which is our startup incubation program in FEU. And a lot of them also doubt their capability to become an entrepreneur because they're just quote unquote students, right?
Hmm.
So what maybe you have some parting words to our student viewers for them to jump already and try entrepreneurship already, and just as you said, just go do it, no? So yeah.
Um, I think, well, especially there's still students right now. Probably now is the best time for you to start
Mm,
anything. Kasi you'll have your mentors around you. You'll
yeah,
have your peers that can help criticize your work, your business, can give you feedback.
yeah,
And kumbaga, medyo safe space pa nga ngayon for you
Yeah.
to start something. So, there shouldn't be much holding you back right
Mm.
now. Imagine kung parang after this, kumbaga lumipad ka na pero hindi pa pala enough yung
Yeah.
yung pag-grow ng wings mo. Why not do that while you're still there in the program?
Mm.
Kasi once you start your business, you'll be able to experience a lot of things that's the first time that you're able to experience them in a business, or in your life, even um, as a worker, as a leader, as a boss.
Yeah.
You'll be experiencing a lot of things. So for me, yung mga bagay naman na yun, kung gusto mo talaga magnegosyo, eventually pagdadaanan mo yun. So why
Mm.
not start that now?
Yeah.
You're just gonna be delaying the process. And believe me, I think I have well, my experience in entrepreneurship is that it accelerated my growth, not
Mm.
just as a leader, but as a person, um, as a person, my growth really, like feeling ko ang dami kong natutunan. Kasi
Mm.
lahat ng aspects
Yes. Yes.
matututunan mo pag nagnenegosyo ka, interpersonal relationships, managing money,
Mm.
putting yourself out there, like, kumbaga, uh, how you present yourself, how you talk, kasi you have to be able to be confident to sell your business. So,
Yeah.
kailangan ikaw yung nagma-market ng business mo rin, di ba? Parang, so, really, a lot of these things, you will learn faster if you start a business. Kasi, for example, if you're employed, medyo focused yan on certain skills.
Yeah.
Pero with a business, kailangan medyo holistic, mas lahat ng aspects tatamaan mo and you will be improving on yourself. So there, just start now. Why wait? Dapat dadaanan mo rin naman yan
Tama.
So, agahan mo na, you'll commit the mistakes early, you'll reap the benefits much earlier. That's just it.
Okay. Napaka-inspiring naman yan, Tal. No? So, Tal, thank you very much for being here. I personally learned a lot. I actually love talking to fellow entrepreneurs, learning from you, experiences. And I'm sure all of our viewers also were very inspired by what you shared. No? And thank you for sharing. No? It must be hard. It must be hard. No? So, yeah. Sige. So again, thank you very much. Yeah. Janina?
Yeah. Hello. Hi. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So, as we close this session, I would just like to also personally thank you, Tal, for sharing your story, the community you're helping, how entrepreneurship exactly is making an impact into your life and your growth as a person, and at the same time, the community of shoe artisans you're helping in Marikina and supporting the shoe brand owners. So, we are very happy and inspired for all your story, for sharing your experience. And these are the things that we don't normally learn in school. But yeah, as Roland mentioned, we're trying to create all these programs that would actually help our students, all these people that attend these sessions to actually learn entrepreneurial skills and life skills that they would need as they pursue entrepreneurship. And even if they don't really pursue entrepreneurship, so they learn all these things that will help them accelerate into top management positions should they actually find themselves in the corporate world. So we actually have a good number of attendees. We have more than 200 people who tuned in with us live on Facebook. I'm sure they still have so many questions. So probably where can they reach you if they want to actually start their own show business, and if they still have other questions for you, where can they probably reach out to
Sure.
you?
Hold on. I'll share my slide again. Hold on. So I have, okay, hold on. Let me just share. I also wanted to share my personal IG as well. They can just
Perfect.
probably screenshot this one. Okay. All right, I'll share it now. This last slide. Okay, there. So first, of course, they can go to my website, risquemanufacturing.com, risquedesigns.ph if they want to email me. And if they want to see our designs and the designs of the other brands that we're working with, it's stridecollectiveph.com. And then those are our Instagram handles. Medyo madami siya. So Risque, sorry, bakit to? Risque, Stride Collective, Workshops by Tal. Sorry, this is Startup Leathercraft, K Manufacturing. And Tal De Guzman is my personal. So please just screenshot this para makita nyo na lang siya later and follow our accounts. And say hi to me. I don't mind. Say hi. So thank you everyone for having me. Thank you, Roland, Janina, and everyone. Thank you for doing this program to encourage more people to jump into entrepreneurship, because I really believe that this will be what will enable the Philippines to become stronger. So thank you for
Thank you,
having this
Tal.
and
Thank you,
having me.
Tal.
Thank you so much, Tal. Too bad we have our time's limited, but we hope that this session is actually a good platform to start further conversation and collaboration. So again, thank you to our speaker for this morning, Ms. Tal De Guzman. We are also grateful for the support of our um, top management. So Attorney Jana Montinola, who's our Senior Vice President for Corporate Affairs. Of course, our Senior Executive Director, Dr. Benson Tan of FE Institute of Technology would also like to thank, of course, our incubator partner, the AM Dado Banatao Incubator. So we would also like to thank everyone who attended and who regularly attends the session. So this is done every third Wednesday of the month. So we encourage everyone to follow us on our official Facebook page for all our event announcements and updates. So it's at FEU Innovation Center. So may I also remind everyone to please complete the post-event survey. So for those people or for those students who want to claim their digital certificate. So see you in our next event. So our the next event will be happening on November for TechX, where we will talk about animation and game development industry in the Philippines. Again, thank you very much, and may we all have a good day. Thank you.